not shocking when you see like these big pro athletes who have these big deals and have, spent decades with these pro teams, and they still rep their college teams with pride. So Kyle Schwarber, one of those, and he is a lot richer. According to sources at ESPN, he signs a 5-year, $150 million deal to stay with the Philadelphia Phillies. And of course, you see his numbers from last year, and for good reason. He's been one of the most dependable sluggers in all of baseball when it comes to the long ball over the past couple seasons. Even this past year had 56 home runs. And as far as RBI go, he hit 132 of those. So somebody who's been a force in the Philly lineup. But Jenks, here's why I think this is a very important signing for the Phillies. Okay. Because Kyle Schwarber is one of the few guys in the lineup that is dependable in the postseason. And this was a major talking point when you look up and down the Phillies lineup, and then you look at the box scores, and you're like, why aren't the Phillies scoring runs in the postseason? They have right. a damn good lineup. Kyle Schwarber cannot be blamed for that. In fact, he is tied for third all-time in postseason home runs with 23 long balls. He also holds the MLB record for most postseason home runs out of the leadoff spot. So when you're talking about a team that has issues conjuring up offense in the postseason, this was really important for them to retain Kyle Schwarber.
Oh, absolutely. And now the question begs, well, are the Phillies actually going to do something in the postseason now? I mean, make the postseason, sure. Win the division, sure. But can they finally take that next step? But I feel like more than anyone, he feels like the heart and soul of that Philly team to me. I know some people might say Bryce Harper, but I feel like Bryce is an otherworldly talent, but isn't really the heart. And Kyle Schwarber seems to be the heart of this team. And also, signings like this are rare. For a DH to get paid like this, and for a guy to come into his own and play his best baseball in his 30s, that's kind of rare too. But I think it speaks to his talent. And there's just something about his personality. Some athletes have something about them where you're kind of drawn to them for whatever reason, and I feel like he's one of those guys.
Well, he's a clubhouse guy. Like, you hear that term all the time, and it just feels like I've heard somebody say something to the effect of this is like, does the temperature in the room change for the better when you walk in? And it feels like the answer is yes for guys like Kyle Schwarber. Jake played with Kyle Schwarber in Chicago, and he was one of the guys that went out of his way to like be nice to every single person. And I don't think I've ever heard anybody speak ill of Kyle Schwarber.
Yeah.
He is just the nicest guy, and it's just always positive vibes. And especially when you talk about a team in Philly where, like, think about the fan base and how quickly it goes negative. I feel like these type of guys are extra important in cities and markets like that.
I think that's a great point, and I would be terrible in cities like this because I'm like so sensitive. I hate everybody. I'm like, everybody has a bad night, guys. Okay, everybody has a bad night. All right, I'm trying to hit the ball. I'd be so upset on a regular basis, but yes, I think you're right because it takes a special person to do both things, to absorb especially in Philly. Like, Philly is a very unique market in that way, where when they embrace you, but also they're going to let you know when they're not satisfied with what they're seeing. And the ability to absorb that and to say, okay, I understand that. That's part of the deal here. And then go about your business and be a great clubhouse guy is, having those two things be successful parts of your personality at once, I would imagine is very difficult.
Yeah, case in point, have you seen what people are saying about Jalen Hurts lately?
Yes.
The guy won a Super Bowl last year. The fan base is like,
crazy.
Tanner McKee time. Get him the hell out of here. So, yeah, Philly is not the easiest market to be a superstar in, but if anybody can do it, it is absolutely Kyle Schwarber. Some other news in baseball, Edwin Díaz, former Mets closer and reliever of the year, I believe, last year, signs a deal with the Dodgers. Thanks. Finally, the Dodgers are getting somebody. Good for those ragtag bunch of underdogs. A $69 million deal with LA.
I'm so glad that you said that. When are we finally going to say, good for you, Dodgers? It's been a rough run. You guys haven't been the same since you moved from Brooklyn. I mean, it's just been one failure after another, and all these yokels that they've signed. Oh, this Shohei character. I mean, Freddie Freeman, when are you going to step up? They've just been. What a terrible run for these guys. So I hope this signing brings them some much-needed luck.
Ah, yes. But I will say, if the Dodgers do have a weakness, and it is very small, maybe it's on the back end of their rotation.
Yes. That's what makes me mad. It's the one weakness they had. Now it's been addressed.
Now they don't have any.
It's unbelievable.
Now they only have the weakness that, like, Alabama football had, like, back in their heyday, is, like, complacency. Like, Jenks, I covered Alabama back in the days. They were winning, like, national championships every year. And, like, every SEC media days, like, the only questions were, like, how do you cope with the players being complacent?
Yeah.
It's their only problem.
It's the question for the Dodgers is like, are you guys going to get bored this year or what? Are you tired of winning? Are you going to stay motivated? Like, it's not, what are you going to do at quarterback? Or you guys have some holes in the rotation? Or what are you going to do at the back end of your line? No. They just got better. I saw this signing, and I'm like, look at me wearing Dodgers colors today, too, randomly. I was like, okay. I'm not going to say it makes baseball less fun. I feel like that's kind of a tired argument. At the same time, Chelsea, I mean, my God, they're already the most loaded team, and this makes them so much better. It was the one way you could maybe get to the Dodgers. I mean, remember, in the World Series, they had to break out starter after starter after starter, at the end to close that thing out. And, of course, they have the best rotation, one of the best rotations in baseball, so that helps. But they were barely able to squeak it out, and now that one thing, like that one piece of kryptonite that they had, is gone.
Yeah, the Dodgers are your favorites to win the World Series yet again at plus 340. Jenks, I'm going to attempt to spin zone this, though.
Okay.
I think the only way this makes baseball more fun is that I do think the Dodgers are the villain of baseball. Like, remember what the Yankees used to be, where it was the evil empire, and everybody had the target on the Yankees' back, and they were, this powerhouse. But I do think when you see, like, a team like the Blue Jays go toe-to-toe with the Dodgers, like, that was fun. That was one of the most watched World Series that we've had in quite some time, and it just goes to prove there are other teams that can still contend. The Dodgers did not cakewalk their way to a World Series. It was one of the best World Series we've seen in quite some time, going to a Game 7. So just because they have this roster that just looks unbeatable does not mean that they're going to be, like, handed a World Series ring on a silver platter.
I mean, they're not, but also they still won, So, like, you're not wrong. Like, it was incredibly competitive, and for a while you're like, all right, the Blue Jays got this, and then they don't. And now the Dodgers have turned the corner, because for a while it looked like all the spending was going to end up putting them in that place where they win a lot during the regular season, and maybe they have, like, a title to show for it after years and years of success. It's kind of like the Braves in the 90s, where the Braves just, like, dominated a decade, but they have one world championship to show for it. But now the Dodgers have turned the corner, where they have multiple championships and may get another now.
Yeah.
All right,
so we have, like...
It's not even baseball
I feel
season.
bad for, if there's a Blue Jays fan listening, that just, we reopened an old wound.